So I know that for people who are newer to yoga, and sometimes people need to kind of understand how and why it works. So I just wanted to explain a little bit about the kind of science so that you understand and everything that you're doing has purpose. So we need to kind of remember that yoga is actually not about the yoga poses. So it really does not matter what you look like in a yoga pose. The most important thing about yoga is what you learn about yourself on the way. So what happens when you're doing a pose which is maybe really difficult? What comes up for you? Do you doubt yourself? Do you push yourself too hard? What happens when you're doing a fast class? Does that make you feel kind of rushed and like you need to keep up with the neighbours? What happens when you're doing a really slow class? Does that make you feel kind of impatient and like you just want to be doing more, that you're wasting time? And all of that is actually a lot more important and more interesting than, you know, lengthening your hamstrings. So I would really encourage you in all of these videos, but especially the ones where we're going really slow, to try not to kind of feel like it's a waste of time, but actually that's maybe where your growth is. So maybe we need to like practice slowing down or practice getting a little bit stronger, whatever it might be. So just be really curious as to what happens in your mind when you're practicing. And obviously, the other benefit of the practice is the physical side of it. So yes, you will absolutely be realigning your spine, be lengthening your muscles, you'll be increasing the oxygen in your digestive system, you'll be reducing the carbon dioxide, so you'll be less acidic, which means that your immune system will be much stronger. So there's loads of physical benefits and also the mental benefits. So if you consider that, just like a dog, if you didn't train it, okay, the untrained mind does whatever it wants, and that doesn't always serve us, okay? So typically speaking, the mind is actually very clever. So it's constantly wandering off to the future and it's trying to look for danger. And if it predicts that danger, then you've got a better chance of staying safe. So that's why the untrained mind is often in the future looking for danger. But the thing is, if you allow that to happen constantly, then you're going to be constantly living in an anxious state. So sometimes we need to be aware of that and to actually bring our mind back to the present moment, because most of the stuff that we're worried about happening doesn't actually happen, and we just waste loads of energy imagining something which hasn't happened yet. And if that's where we're pouring all our energy into, it's more likely to happen. So it's much more beneficial to keep your mind focused in the present moment, okay, or on something that you want to happen instead. Equally, the mind, the untrained mind, can wander off to the past, okay? And if you're constantly living in the past, then that's out of your control. It's happened and there's nothing you can do about it, which can lead to depression. So if the mind is wandering off to the future, that can create anxiety. And if it's wandering off to the past, then that can create depression. Okay, so we need to really try and practice keeping your mind absolutely present. So in this moment, the only moment that exists. And by focusing on your breath and the individual muscle movements and the poses, yoga actually rewires the neuroplasticity in the brain to keep your mind present. So then you will find that when you're doing your day-to-day, your mind isn't constantly wandering off to danger, making you stressed and creating anxiety, or wandering off to the past and making you depressed. You're just in the present moment, and that is going to change your way of being drastically, both in kind of a psychological perspective, but also the chemical makeup of your body, because it will no longer be in fight or flight. It will no longer be with adrenaline and cortisol, which are the stress hormones which fill your body with acid, and instead you'll come into rest and digest, so your body will be able to heal and recover, and you'll be much healthier physically as well. So just bear that in mind when you're doing your practice. It's not just about what you look like in a yoga pose, but it's about all that amazing stuff that you learn about yourself on the way, okay? Enjoy.